So I somehow thought selling my art at an anime convention would be simple. It's gonna be simple. It's gonna be a breeze. I'm so prepared. Just gotta pay for my table, set it up when I get there, wait for people to buy. No, sweetie. We need to talk about the cost, the chaos, what I sold, what I didn't, and if I would ever put myself through this again. So let's rewind and start from the beginning. I knew that I had to pay for a table. I just didn't realize how quickly all the little things were gonna be adding up. So for example, my table was $125. It's expensive, especially for a small convention. And this convention is new. It's been around for maybe 3 years. I think this was the third year. So I paid $125 for the table, but I still needed to buy everything else that I needed on my table to display all my art prints, my stickers, and some decorative pieces to draw people to the table. So here's a cost breakdown. I spent $25 on a bookmark organizer, $10 for a file organizer, and it came with two, and by file organizer, I'll show you here. This I use to organize all of my art prints, my stickers, so that way I can pack them easily and bring them to the convention. You definitely don't have to get this, but I do recommend it. It helped me a lot to be able to stay organized. It fit my bookmarks, it fit my art prints, and it fit my stickers and my sticker sheets. I also spent $16 on an acrylic stand, which I thought was very expensive, but I guess it's normal. I don't know. I spent $33 on a greeting card display stand, which came with two, so I guess that's a good deal, really. And I put my art prints in those and my postcards. It's a really great display stand for art prints. 4x6 art prints is what I had, and 4x6 postcards. Another expense was a business card holder, which ended up being $10. I apparently never owned one, so I had to buy one so I could put on my table so people can easily grab my business cards. Also, another thing that's not necessary, you could probably easily display them on the table somehow by having a few here and there, but I wanted something, I don't know, to match the vibe of my table because I don't know, I'm a little extra. And then there was the storage cube organizers. That was $28. I debated getting a different type, the one that doesn't have the holes in them. I think they're called shoe organizers even, but I don't know. I ended up getting the ones with the holes in them so that way I can clip stuff to it easily. Another expense was my fairy lights, which cost me $10. That was strictly for ambiance because I did a lot of, I don't want to say I did a lot of research about doing an anime convention, but a lot of people echoed having a very noticeable table, and I thought having lights on my table would draw people's attention to it, and I feel like it did. Like, I got a lot of compliments about the design of my table and the color scheme that I went with, so that was really nice. Then I spent $8 on binder clips, which I didn't have already, to hold up my artwork and the string lights or fairy lights, and it also held up my little plant chain that I had. The plant chain cost, I think, $12. I got that at Michael's. Also another thing that is not necessary whatsoever. Just me being extra. And then my table fabric, it's this little sparkly table fabric that I got at, where did I get that? I think it was Michael's, and I think it was on clearance, so I got, I think, 3 yards for $10. My biggest expense was the table runner that has my banner. It was a last minute decision because I thought about it and thought about it. I was like, well, people have my business cards, that's how they'll know it's me. But then I just wanted the whole package. All of a sudden, last minute, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get a banner. And then it was really only $20-something initially. But then I got it from Etsy. It said that it could arrive on the day of the con. It could possibly. And I was like, I don't want to take the chance. Since I am doing this last minute, I put in speed shipping or whatever. And so it ended up costing me $50 $50 for the table runner. Oh my god. That was my biggest expense. You absolutely do not need to get one of those. And especially you do not need to get it last minute like I did. And then I got these 2 tiny stands, art stands. I don't even know what you call those, but they hold 4x6 art prints. And I put my Instagram barcode on 2 of them, I should say, because I had one in front of me and one on the side of the table. So that cost $6. That is $218 just in displays. So if I include the table fee, it is $343 total that I spent for this convention. So I may have gone a little overboard. I really didn't need to spend all the money that I spent. The only necessary thing really was storage or displays for my art prints and the table. So do with that information what you will. So with prepping for the convention, I really thought that I needed 10 of everything. I don't know why I thought that. It was a small convention and I decided I was gonna stay up every night after work and start printing 10 of everything that I need. Why? Why did I put myself through that? I don't know. So basically, even the week leading up to the convention, I was printing like a mad machine. I was in here cutting, printing, clipping, organizing, storing, designing because I wanted to fix that design. Like, cannot believe I put myself through that and I didn't even need to. So unfortunately, even the night before the con, I was still bagging everything, printing last minute things, and my husband was helping me organize and put things in the car so that way we're ready in the morning. But I was up till 1 a.m. doing last minute preparations. Do not recommend that. I don't recommend that at all. So unfortunately, with all of the excitement of doing my first convention, I ended up wanting to bring everything I have created since starting this business, even old art from the very beginning of my art journey. I don't know why I decided to overpack and overdo everything. So by the time I was unloading everything on the table, I was realizing there are stuff that don't really match with the vibe of my table and I didn't need to bring it at all. So honestly, I really over-prepared in all the wrong ways. Looking back, I was honestly exhausted before the convention even started, and I ended up getting myself sick 2 weeks before the convention. Or about 2 weeks. I think it was like a week and a half, really. I ended up getting myself sick. And then one of the worst things happened. My babysitter canceled on us days before the convention, and we had to scramble and find somebody to watch Peanut because he was not going to be at the convention with us. He would cause chaos. He's just a toddler, you know what I mean? So we had to make arrangements, and we found that we could leave him with my in-laws, but we had to drop him off later because the timing was just so bad, guys. It was so bad. So I had to bring Peanut with us to the convention, at least for the setup part, and then my husband was going to take him after we're done setting up, so that way he could be with my in-laws, and then my husband will come back and help me at the convention. So the morning comes, and of course we all overslept because we were up so late trying to get everything done for the convention. We ended up getting to the convention late with only 45 minutes to set up my table. It was chaos. Thankfully, my husband jumped in and helped set up the table with me, and of course little Peanut was there trying his best as well. And we're just scrambling, trying to set up the display stands, the cube organizers, just everything. And in the middle of all of that chaos, I realized I'm forgetting my best-selling prints, my Zodiac Boba prints. I'm forgetting the most favorable piece in my shop at home because I was too tired to double check before I left. I did not make a checklist. I did not do a count. I just grabbed what I thought I needed and I left. And I left the most important item at home. I have no words. I have no words for what I felt in that moment. So finally, the doors open, right? And I'm still trying to set up the POS system because I didn't connect it to the Wi-Fi because I was trying to hurry up and set up my table because I only had 45 minutes to do everything. And as soon as Ben left with Peanut to go drop him off, that was when I finally started setting up my POS system. Don't know why I didn't decide to do that first, but I ended up waiting last minute to do that. And 5 minutes in, somebody already comes to my table and they're like, oh, I would love to buy these sticker sheets. And I'm sitting here still connecting my POS system, freaking out. 5 minutes in, I never would have thought somebody would just come to my table immediately as the doors open. And I'm like all the way in the back. I was not ready. I didn't feel like my table was finished. I didn't feel like I was prepared to say anything yet, but I somehow made the sale and they were happy and they walked away. They took my card and I made my first sale within 5 minutes. I was elated. I could not believe that happened. And I am so forever grateful for whoever that was. I didn't get your name, but thank you so much for being the first person to buy from me at the convention. If you ever see this video, I am forever grateful for that moment because it showed me that I can definitely do this with all the chaos and sleepless nights and being deprived of so much. I can do this. So here is where I made things really hard for myself, I think. So Shopify has their POS system, right? And they have a free version and a pro version. Shopify sends you a free POS hardware, which is what I use. It's free. I was able to use that. It worked out great. But if you want to offer buy one, get one discounts, which I did, you need to pay the pro features to be able to have Shopify calculate this for you. Well, I wasn't going to pay $80-something a month, so that way they could do that for me. So I thought, I'll just go on Shopify on my discounts page and manually create discounts that are buy one, get one. And that way I can type it in each time somebody decides, hey, I want to buy 3 stickers and get one free. So I had a discount code called, I think I had it called buy ST or something, and then 3. I don't remember what I wrote, but here's a list of my discount codes that I use, and feel free to use this if you want. I made that whole list for every scenario that I thought somebody would use to, if they were going to do combine 2 discounts, for example, because you can't combine in this free version, you can't combine 2 discounts in one cart. So I had to make a scenario where somebody did. So I had one for somebody that wanted to buy 3 bookmarks and get one free, along with having 3 stickers and get one free. It was crazy what I decided to do. I kind of don't recommend this, but if you are desperate and don't want to spend $80-something a month, but you also want to offer buy one, get one, then this was like the solution I came up with. And you're probably wondering, why would you do this when you could use Square? Well, I didn't want to use 2 different platforms. I just wanted to stay on Shopify. I didn't want to overcomplicate it, even though I ended up kind of complicating it. Luckily, rarely did anybody use the discounts. People came and they only wanted to buy one of something. They didn't want to use the buy 3, get 1. There were a few that did. I had a list next to me that had all the discounts. So whenever they wanted to get 3 stickers, I reminded them you could get 4 because the 4th one is free. And so that's when I would look at my list and be able to know what discount code to use and put that in the POS system. And that would take $3 off of an order that had 4 stickers because my stickers are $3. That's how I got around it. But I don't know how feasible that is if you had like a lot of people and they're waiting for you to hurry up and put in discount codes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. So I guess at that point you would pay, or at that point you would just say, whatever, I'll get Square. But I just did not want to have 2 separate platforms and then deal with that later. Maybe if I end up thinking this is too much of a headache, I'll probably do that, but it worked out. It really did. I do want to mention though that cash sales were the easiest by far, right? Because once they come to your table, they tell you, I want this Nema sticker. And I'm like, cool, that'll be $3. And they just give me a $5 bill. I give them $2 change and they walk away. And then I take my phone and I put in that they bought the Nema sticker and they gave me cash and this is the change. And they move on. They've already left and I'm doing the transaction after. I don't have to like have them sit there waiting for me to do the transaction. And it's even better because if they did use a discount, right, I could put that in later and not sit there looking at my long list of scenarios to put in. So I loved the people who came with cash. You know, now I totally understand why a lot of vendors are like, cash only, please. It's so much easier. Now, the people that wanted to pay with card had to wait for me to like input the item name to add to the cart. And with my husband helping me when I had to go use the bathroom or whatever, he doesn't really know the names of stuff. It was taking him longer to find my items and type them in. So I feel really bad with the card sales because they had to wait not only for me to find the item in my list to add to the cart, but also if they used a discount, I had to look through the list and put in the discount code. So my husband made a really good point and he said, maybe, and I haven't really tested this yet, but maybe we could have all my items with a barcode and a binder. That way we could take the phone and scan it and not have to search for the item on the phone, if that makes sense. And that just sounds brilliant to me, and I hope it works when I do my next convention. I don't know how everybody else is doing it. I haven't really actually done that kind of research yet. I just thought it would be easy and I would figure it out. While it was not easy, it just was not a very efficient workflow, I guess I should say. I think it would work out if I could just scan the item and have a binder with a little picture of each item and just scan it. And it'll be easier for somebody that's helping me. Okay, so you're probably wondering by now, what even sold? What was the bestseller? It probably would have been my Zodiac boba prints if I didn't forget those lovely little things. But it turns out my stickers sold the most. Stickers. Everybody came for stickers, it seems, and especially my Zodiac stickers. Those did really well. I also sold some of my Zodiac bookmarks. Anything Zodiac seemed to have done really, really well for me. No one bought my Nema artwork. No one bought my OC watercolors. Nobody cared. No one gave a damn. Really. They did not. People were so drawn to the Zodiac sign. That stung a little bit, not gonna lie. Nobody was interested in Nema or was interested in buying my OCs, but I understand. Like, it really shed some light that people, they buy what they can relate to. Zodiac signs, totally relatable. Random original art characters, not so relatable, I guess. I get it. When I go to conventions, I am gonna be honest with you. If I see a video game character as an art print, I'm buying it. If I see somebody draw a black girl with locks, I'm buying it. Those are relatable things to me, right? And so I can't be mad at that. I really can't. But it helps me to know what to do better next time. And not to say that I shouldn't draw what I want to draw, but I do want to think about things that are more relatable. If somebody actually came by and was really curious and asked me why I drew what I drew with my original characters or with Nema, and I told them the story, I'm sure they would probably be interested in buying. But these conventions are so fast paced, I can't even begin to tell you. It is so fast that it doesn't seem like people even coming into these conventions have time to like chat and be like, so tell me about your artwork, because it's not a gallery, you know what I mean? Like, they're here to buy things that make them feel good, and make them happy. And I want to sell things that make them feel good and make them happy. And so I want to be able to provide more of that catches their eye in that sense. Even though to me, Nima makes me feel good and makes me happy, doesn't mean somebody coming by will think the same thing. Which makes forgetting my Zodiac Boba art prints even more painful, because I still think I would have done even better if those were available. I really do. I really do. Knowing that people were that interested in my Zodiac stickers and my bookmarks, they definitely probably would have been interested in the art prints as well. So by the last 2 hours of the convention, I was freaking toast. I was so exhausted, so tired. I had not eaten all day because I rushed there. I was sipping on bottled water. The only thing I put in me was water, and I was still recovering from being sick. It was such an awful feeling for my first time that I ended up getting such a bad migraine by the end of it. My friends ended up coming by to support me, and they saw how tired I was, and they sat there and hung out with me the whole time for the rest of the con. And then they also helped me take everything down. We went out to eat after, and I am so grateful that I had the support group that I had that day, because I couldn't have done that alone. There is no way. I could not have done that alone. With the way that everything went and the way that I was feeling, I don't know how I would have made it. I don't know how I would have made it through that. It just was such an awful feeling near the end. It was rough. And I don't think people really talk about the exhaustion that comes with vending at a convention. It is mentally and physically exhausting. It really is. And if you stressed yourself out prior to the convention and got yourself sick, imagine that physical exhaustion and mental exhaustion times 10. That is exactly what I was experiencing near the end there. Okay, not to deter you from doing a convention, but I just want you to know you're gonna be tired. I had to call off of work the next day because that's how tired I was. I was really trying to recover. Okay, let's talk money. So, I bet you're wondering, yes, I did make my table back for my very first time. Yes, thank you. I made a total of $149, which is great, right? It's totally, like, I was not expecting to make my table back. I really wasn't. I was expecting to know what this experience is like and get something out of it, which I definitely did, and we'll go over that near the end, but did not expect to make $149, which I am so grateful for that number. So thank you everybody that was there, that bought something and supported me, and I just am so incredibly grateful. So thank you. So that basically means I had $24 left over. So my table was $125 and I made $149. So that paid for the table and I was left with $24. Technically that is great, right? Like I made money. But if you include all the display costs, it looks a lot different, doesn't it? It looks kind of bad, right? So total sales, $149. Total cost, $343. So what does that leave? A net negative of $194. Yikes. I spent so much money, you guys, and a lot of that probably could have been avoided. However, there's a silver lining in this. Even though I lost money, know that all of those display stuff that I bought, it's all reusable. So my next convention that I do, I won't have that loss anymore because I've already spent that money for this convention. I won't have to buy them again. So that means from here on out, my profit margin could look way better. So basically, think of your first convention as an investment, not as a one-time profit. So here are some lessons I'm taking with me for next time. Definitely don't overprint like I did. I didn't need 10 of everything. Just a few quantities of each item should do, especially for a small convention like I did. I could have just been fine with 3 of everything because I don't think I sold out of 1 item, and I don't think I sold 3 of 1 item. So I could have gotten away with just 3 of everything instead of spending all that time printing 10 of everything. The other tip is definitely stick to a theme. You don't need to bring your whole art history to fill up space. I did not need to do that. But I also brought some of my Halloween artwork because I thought Halloween is around the corner and nobody cared about it. And it didn't fit like my pastel theme that I had going on. So just food for thought. And you obviously don't have to bring fan art, especially if you don't want to risk bringing fan art, if you know what I mean. But try to like have a certain theme that you stick to so that way everything looks cohesive and you don't end up over preparing and bringing all this extra weight that you don't need. Another tip, which is my favorite tip, have a checklist. That is something that I learned the hard way. Have a checklist so that you don't forget your best sellers, like my boba art prints. I will never ever make that mistake again, ever. Another lesson learned is to streamline your checkout. You think you know what it's gonna be like when you do your first art convention. Because I'm sure most of us have worked retail. Take the card or the money and you give change or you make them scan and they all walk away, right? But there's a process to it and you have to create a workflow that works for you. And I don't know if I recommend doing like tests at home with like family and friends just so you can get an idea of how to like approach it. But me not knowing that going in and just panicking was not helpful. Definitely streamline your checkout system. Hopefully I'll be able to do the barcode thing that I talked about in the video earlier. I don't know, but it's something that I'm considering. Okay, the last lesson learned is so important. Okay, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself, for the love of God. Drink water, bring snacks, pace yourself. Don't overdo it, or you're gonna end up with a raging migraine like I did. Get plenty of rest before the convention. Do not stay up till 1, 2 in the morning like I did, prepping last minute. Take care of yourself. So, even with all the chaos and mistakes that I made, I am really proud of myself. I did good. I think I did good. I'm proud. I'm very happy with the outcome. As an introvert, talking to all those strangers and putting myself out there, that was one of the biggest challenges, and I did it, and I'm really glad I tried. I proved myself that I can do this, and I made my table back at my first convention. That is a win in my book. So yes, I will be doing more conventions in the future, but this time I'll do better. I'm not gonna make some of the mistakes that I made. I'll probably make more mistakes, sure, but there'll be different ones that I'm gonna learn from, and I'll share those with you guys. You are going to learn so much more from one convention than from months of planning. I would know. I had been planning for this since the beginning of the year, and even though I thought I was going to be prepared, I was not. And I had so much to learn, and I made so many mistakes. It doesn't matter how long you've been planning for this. Something is bound to happen and you're going to have a hard lesson to learn. So just start doing it and start learning those lessons. So that's it. That was my first ever vending experience, and it was pretty legit. I really appreciate you guys for sticking around for this video. I know I announced that I would be doing this a while ago, and of course I'm late as usual in putting this video out, but I'm so grateful for you for watching. I want to quickly say that I know my videos have not been super consistent lately with my new full-time job and being a mom and trying to balance everything. It's just so overwhelming that I'm trying to pace myself and not force myself to do these things because I want to be as authentic as possible and I don't want to burn out. So bear with me while I figure all of this out. In the meantime, though, if you would love to hang out and chat more often, I am on Discord. We have a growing Discord community that I created. I think there's about 200 of us now. So if you want, you can join. The link is in my description box, and we share art there. We talk about art, we talk about life, we hang out, but it's a nice little community, not spammy, I promise. But I would love to see you there. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye.